having seen too much of. The classic switched air drama. The first thing I do, after returning to this wealthy family, is turn to the four sisters who have been shielding the fake heir Liam, and say, if you don't want me as your brother, I don't want you as my sisters either. If Liam is the only brother you care about, then he's the only brother you have. Keep him if you want. Just stay out of my way. The four Sterling daughters go pale. Victor and Claire are both alarmed and distressed. I look at the hurt on Claire's face, and let out a sigh. Don't read too much into this, Mom, Dad. I came back willingly and I genuinely accept you as my parents. But only you two. I have no interest in sucking up to people who don't want it. After all, I am the young lord of Grimhaven. People come to me, not the other way around. Since when do I swallow my pride and beg for anyone's approval? Taking over Damon's body means I now share his fate. I can tell Victor and Claire are sincere, so naturally I'll treat them with the respect and love they deserve, as true parents. As for everyone else, I'll see. A sudden sob breaks the silence. Everyone at the table turns to look. Liam sits there with red-rimmed eyes, voice trembling. Mom, Dad, sisters, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Damon, please don't blame sisters. He doesn't even get to finish before I cut him off without a shred of courtesy. Enough. Stop putting on a performance. I don't have the time or patience for this. What do you actually want? Fine, I'll leave. You can all go back to your happy little family. I make a move to stand up as I say it. Liam flushes crimson, completely at a loss for words. Damon, what are you saying? This is your home. You can't just walk out like that. Claire reaches out and grabs my wrist firmly, terrified that one wrong move will send me out the door. This will always be your home. Do whatever makes you comfortable. No one in this house has the right to speak against you. She shoots a pointed glare at her daughters. Victor gives them the same hard look. That's right, Damon. This will always be your home. If anyone here has a problem with you, they can get out. From now on, you do what works for you. I'd like to see who dares say otherwise. Their stance satisfies me. At least these two know exactly where their loyalties lie. If they couldn't get their priorities straight, if they insisted on siding with an adopted son at the expense of their own flesh and blood, my attitude toward them would be a lot cooler. Liam feels embarrassed, wronged, and miserable all at once, desperate to disappear, but without the nerve to actually do it. He is no longer the young heir of the Sterling family. He is just a charity case living under someone else's roof. That thought only makes it worse. Claire turns to Liam and speaks gently. Liam, stop crying. We've already talked about this, haven't we? Damon is Damon, and you are you. There's no conflict between you two. Just settle down and stay home. Liam keeps sobbing. I just feel so terrible about what Damon went through. I just take a bite of the dish and pause. Are you done yet? You say you feel terrible, yet you haven't made any move to leave the Sterling house. Since you've chosen to stay, drop the wounded act. It's genuinely unpleasant to watch. And for the record, I am not your brother. Call me by my name from now on. I can see exactly what Liam is doing, playing the wounded victim so everyone will pity him and rally to his defense. Such low-level tactics? They're not even worth my time. If he wants to keep performing, let him. But if he doesn't know when to quit and keeps pushing his luck, he shouldn't blame me for what happens next, not even out of respect for Victor and Claire. Liam's expression freezes, as if he's just been slapped across the face in front of everyone. His face cycles between pale and red. He is absolutely seething inside. But with everyone watching, he can't do a thing. After being called out so bluntly in front of the whole family, continuing the wounded act would be too obvious even for him. Ella is the youngest of the four sisters and by far the most hot-headed. She immediately opens her mouth to defend Liam, but Serena grabs her arm and holds her back. Serena studies me from across the table. Something shifts in her eyes, curiosity mixed with careful assessment. This little brother is actually something else. Welcome back home. Mom and Dad are absolutely right. This is your home now and always. Do whatever feels right for you. You don't need to worry about anyone else's feelings. Today was our mistake. We thought you and Dad wouldn't be back so soon, so we all headed out. Please don't take it the wrong way. We really are glad you're back. I glance at her briefly and say nothing. Seeing his eldest daughter speak up, Victor's expression finally eases a little. He turns and signals the staff to bring out the next course. The kitchen has been told to prepare a full spread tonight. Every kind of dish imaginable, because no one knows what I like yet. By the way, Dad, where did Damon grow up? What about the people who raised him? How do we handle that side of things going forward? Serena asks this as if something just happened to cross her mind, casual and offhand. Then she notices Victor's expression shift. Something stirs in her. Dad, why the silence? Is there something you'd rather not say? We're all family now. Whatever concerns Damon concerns all of us. There's no need to keep things from us. Looks like we're not getting through this meal quietly. If you want to know, ask me directly. I pick up a napkin, dab the corner of my mouth, and speak. I was taken in as a child by an old Taoist master, and I grew up in a rundown temple. It sat on a remote mountain, poor conditions, barely any visitors. My master and I could barely keep ourselves fed. I never went to a real school. My master taught me to read and write at the temple. I rarely left the mountain growing up. My master had passed away 3 months ago for old age. After that, I was alone at the temple. Until recently when Dad finally found me and brought me home. I pause briefly, then add, the temple is closed now. There's no one left to keep it going. Though if I ever want to go back, I can. I'd manage on my own. I cover my entire past in just a few sentences, voice steady and unhurried throughout. No complaint, no tears, not a single word of blame aimed at fate. But Claire and Victor listen with their hearts breaking. Both of them tear up without meaning to. All four sisters are stunned, a tangle of emotions hitting them at once. They had no idea their biological brother had been living like that. He should have been the cherished young heir of the Sterling family, spoiled and adored by everyone. Even Ella feels a pang of guilt, realizing her attitude earlier was out of line. Liam feels a jolt of alarm at the sight. He decides I'm calculating and manipulative, convinced that everything I just said was a deliberate play for sympathy. His instinct is to apologize again, then he remembers how I shut him down. He swallows it back. He switches to what he thinks is a smarter angle. Damon, now that you're home, things will only get better from here. You're still getting used to everything. If there's anything you don't know or can't figure out, come find me anytime. I'll do my best to help. And if you don't mind, I'd be happy to take you around and show you the city. Help you get your bearings. I see right through him. I say flatly. Okay, thanks. Claire holds my hand tightly, her eyes full of aching guilt. Mom, I'm fine. My master and I were happy together. The conditions were hard, yes, but the temple was peaceful, and my master loved me deeply. All things considered, I had a happy childhood. What I said isn't entirely untrue. The real Damon had been happy. All those years, despite the hardship of life at the temple, his master had loved him without reserve, and had given him the very best of what little they had. The temple saw almost no visitors. The world around him was simple and uncomplicated. He lived each day without restraint or burden. When he was lonely as a child, he'd wander up the back mountain and play with the animals. Even alone, he found joy. Not a worry in the world. Damon had once said he never felt like he was suffering. The real pain came when his master fell gravely ill, and there was nothing to be done. His master was the only family he had in this world, the sole anchor of everything he felt and believed in. It was the first time he had ever tasted the grief of losing someone forever. After his master passed, he stayed alone at the temple with no one to talk to, living out each day in quiet solitude. In the 2 weeks before Victor found him, Damon had gone up the back mountain to gather firewood. He slipped and fell from a cliff. Alone on that remote mountain, no one saw it happen. He died without a sound, without a witness. His soul arrived at Grimhaven just as I happened to return to the city to handle routine affairs. When I encountered Damon's soul, something about his life fate immediately stood out. By every measure of his birth chart and features, he was meant to live a life of extraordinary wealth and ease, a fate of perfect fortune and long life, rare in this world. A fate like that usually comes from lifetimes of accumulated virtue. And yet here he was in Grimhaven. That could only mean one thing. He had suffered a wrongful death, and the life fate that was rightfully his had been cut short by someone else's hand. As it happened, Grimhaven had recently run into serious trouble. I needed to come to the mortal world in person, so I approached Damon's soul and struck a fair deal. I would borrow Damon's identity in the mortal world to handle my business. Each of us would get what we needed, and that is how I ended up here, living through all of this in the Sterling household. Not that any of them would believe me if I told them, especially Victor and Claire. Having just heard what I said, they are now more convinced than ever that I am a thoughtful, kind-hearted child. They are sure I only said those things to make them feel better. Both of them are quietly grieving. Their son was born into a life of privilege, and yet he spent over a decade lost to them, enduring hardship he never should have known. They silently vowed to make it up to me, tenfold. The mood at the table grows heavy. Everyone sits with their own tangled thoughts. The 4 Sterling sisters have gone quiet too, heads down, eating in silence. No more trouble from them. Victor and Claire pour their full attention on me. Every so often they check softly whether the food suits my taste. Damon, which dish do you like best? Do you want Mom to ladle you some soup? Liam sits beside them, unable to hide how dejected he feels. Ella keeps nearly saying something on his behalf, but every time her eyes land on me, the actual brother, she remembers what I said. The words die in her throat. I just focus on enjoying the food, but to the Sterling family, that image takes on a life of its own. Claire watches me with glistening eyes. Her heart is so full of tenderness it almost hurts. One look at me and she knows, he must have rarely had the chance to eat like this. Living in a rundown temple on a remote mountain, the conditions speak for themselves. Just having enough to eat each day was already something. Fine food was never part of the picture. Claire quietly makes up her mind. From now on she will make something new and delicious for me every single day. After dinner, the children all settle obediently in the living room. Victor calls it bonding time with the son who just came home. I sink comfortably into the oversized leather sofa in the center of the living room and stare at the massive flat-screen TV ahead, utterly captivated. Damon, do you really love watching TV that much? Claire asks with a gentle smile. Eyes fixed on the screen, I nod vigorously. This television is extraordinary, far more entertaining than anything performed on a stage. It has been a very long time since I last walked in the mortal world. I had not expected it to have changed this much. Right now, I feel like a complete country bumpkin who has just arrived in the city for the first time. Claire watches me and her eyes redden again. Her poor boy. He's grown so much. And yet he has never properly watched a television before. While she's lost in thought, the program cuts to commercials. Claire immediately picks up the remote. Damon, let Mom find you something else to watch. That drama you were watching just wrapped up for tonight. Let's flip to another channel. There's plenty more good stuff on. I nod agreeably, the picture of a well-behaved child. Claire casually flips to another channel, lands on a family drama, and sets down the remote. But within moments, an awkward silence falls over the entire room. Liam, sitting nearby, flushes a deep red across his fair, delicate face, his eyes burning with barely concealed shame and humiliation. Of all the timing, the drama now playing is the switched heir story. two children accidentally swapped at birth, and tonight's episode happens to be the one where the real heir is finally found. Claire stares at the screen, completely thrown. The plot unfolding on screen mirrors their own situation almost exactly. The awkwardness is unbearable. The real son is brought home, but the adopted one stays. The parents don't send him away, they coddle him even more than before, treating the adopted son like a treasure, while the biological one is left like an afterthought. A thick, wordless awkwardness settles over the living room. And of course I choose this moment to comment out loud. Funny, isn't it? Why would anyone favor an adopted child over their own flesh and blood? Sure, years together build attachment, that's only human. But you can't let your own child suffer for it. I shake my head repeatedly, the picture of genuine bewilderment. Victor and Claire both sense I'm taking a dig at someone, but they can't prove it. After all, they haven't sent Liam away, and they certainly haven't shown favoritism, nor have they treated me coldly. They genuinely can't bear to let Liam go. Over a decade of raising him, that bond doesn't just vanish overnight, but they know where to draw the line. No matter how much they care for Liam, it will never come at my expense. So they tell themselves I'm just commenting on the show, nothing more. And if it is a dig, it's aimed at the sisters, not them. Victor and Claire quietly reassure themselves, pushing down the unease stirring beneath. They had considered asking Liam to leave, at first. He was nearly of age. They could buy him a place to live, send him a monthly allowance, put him through university, but the daughters fought it fiercely, pleading with them to reconsider. And since Victor and Claire were too soft-hearted themselves, Liam ended up staying. That thought makes Victor shoot a hard look at his daughters. Liam can't take it anymore. He covers his face and chokes back a sob, then bolts upstairs. I watch him go with a blank expression. What's gotten into him now? Ella's face is stone cold. She bites her tongue. Claire forces a smile. It's nothing. Liam probably just needs time to adjust. I furrow my brow slightly. So if I'm living here now, does that mean he'll be crying every day? That's going to get exhausting. Claire is completely stumped, a wave of weariness washing over her. Ella finally snaps. Did you do that on purpose? I glance away immediately, blinking with total innocence. Do what on purpose? Ella glares at me through gritted teeth. You were deliberately trying to get under Liam's skin just now, weren't you? Mom and Dad have already said they'll make it up to you. What more do you want? Does Liam have to be gone before you're satisfied? That makes things perfectly clear. I drop the remote on the table and stand up. I fix Ella with an icy look. So what about you? Do you need me gone? To clear the way for your precious Liam? Apparently I can't even open my mouth in my own home without worrying about the feelings of a fake heir. I turn and walk away. The living room goes dead silent. Victor raises his voice immediately. I'm warning all of you, if I see that attitude toward Damon again, I will throw every single one of you out. His expression turns absolutely severe. You need to understand, Damon is your brother, your blood brother, born from the same mother. In this whole switched identity mess, he is far more the victim than Liam ever was. You worry so much about Liam being mistreated. Have you ever stopped to think about how much your own brother suffered all these years? The Sterling family has no problem continuing to provide for Liam, but he will never be placed above Damon. His gaze lands on Ella, his expression dark. I know you and Liam are close in age and have always been close. I understand why you defend him, but you need to be clear on this. Damon has done nothing wrong and he owes none of you a thing. I will say this once. Anyone who hurts Damon again will answer to me. The corner of Ella's mouth twitches. That was clearly aimed at her. Dad, don't worry. We know how to conduct ourselves. Serena speaks up and explains the day's events once more. We thought you wouldn't be back so soon, which is why we agreed to go watch Liam's competition. Had we known you'd be home earlier, we would never have gone. Lily and Grace both nod in agreement. The two of them are twins. Victor and Claire head upstairs with dark expressions, leaving the four sisters standing in the living room staring at each other. Serena, don't you think our brother seems a little... Lily pauses, searching for the right word. Different. His personality is really something else. Serena replays the evening in her mind and nods slowly. He's someone who refuses to take a loss, and he has a tongue sharp enough to cut anyone down. But I don't think he does it deliberately. He's not out to provoke anyone on purpose. He just says exactly what's on his mind. No filter. A little too straightforward for his own good. Then she thinks about Liam's behavior tonight, and her brow creases. Liam is far too sensitive. If he keeps going like this without getting his head straight, he'll only end up hurting himself. Like Dad just said, no matter how long we've lived with him, how deep the bond, how much we favor him, we cannot keep putting our own brother second for his sake. That mindset of his has to change. Serena turns to Ella. You're the closest to Liam, in age and in bond. Talk to him. Help him stop overthinking. Damon is back. And of course Mom and Dad will dote on him. That's only natural. But that doesn't mean they'll stop loving Liam. He's still their son. Ella may be young and impulsive, but she is far from stupid. She nods with conviction. I understand. And one more thing. Serena's expression firms up, every bit the eldest sister. Be nicer to Damon going forward. Don't make me deal with you myself. With that, Serena gets up and heads to her room. Lily and Grace exchange a glance and follow. Ella is absolutely fuming. What is this? We all did the same thing. How does it end up being entirely my fault? I couldn't care less what's happening downstairs. I go back to my room and shut the door behind me. The room was carefully prepared by Victor and Claire, decorated with real thought and care. Everything, the design, the furnishings, suits a young man's taste. Thank goodness there's no pink anywhere. A pink room would have kept me awake all night. The moment I step inside, I sense something off in the air. I raise one hand and lay down a warding seal around the room. No need for anyone to notice anything unusual. Then, out of thin air, a man in a black robe and mask materializes in the room. He walks toward me and drops to one knee. Your Highness. I look at him, brow furrowing. What are you doing here? The moment I ask, a bad feeling settles in. Sure enough, the Sovereign has sent me to deliver a message. She has returned to Grimhaven. Wasn't she at the 6th Hall? How long has it been since she last came back to Grimhaven? I've barely just arrived in the mortal world and she's already back. I had been counting on Sister Alara still being away when I slipped out. Unexpectedly, fate had other plans. I had barely made my exit before she turned right around and came back. The memory of her warnings flashes through my mind, and a flicker of guilt crosses my eyes. She had told me time and again, never come to the mortal world without permission, and any matter involving the city must be discussed with her first. But I happened to cross paths with Damon's soul, and the timing felt perfect, so I decided to sort everything out while she was away. Knowing Alara's temperament, I am almost certainly in for a scolding. Your Highness, the Sovereign has returned to Grimhaven. Upon discovering that you came to the mortal world without authorization, she was furious and sent me here to deliver her message. He rises and makes the gesture of presenting a message. A faint light flickers in midair, and an envelope appears from nowhere. Then the envelope slowly fades away, and a single line of text floats clearly in the air, shimmering faintly, before dissolving into nothing. The moment was brief, but I caught every word. It read, I will arrive soon. Well, this is a problem. Alara coming to the mortal world? That can't be good. The masked envoy's voice is completely flat. Your Highness, no one overturns the Sovereign's decisions. In other words, stop dreaming and start preparing. I fall silent. The man vanishes from the room as quickly as he came. I deflate like a punctured balloon, all the energy draining out of me. If Alara is coming, how exactly does she plan to do it? If she comes as the Sovereign, she definitely won't be able to stay long. That thought reignites a small spark of hope. As for her settling the score with me later, I did do this for Grimhaven's sake after all. Surely she'll take that into account and go easy on me. The next morning, when the Sterling family comes downstairs, they find me in the living room watching TV. Every one of them stops dead in their tracks and blinks hard. They glance at the clock on the wall. Silence falls over the group. It is barely past 6 in the morning. The sound behind me pulls me out of my trance. I turn and glance at them. Good morning, I say casually. Then I immediately turn back to the screen. So utterly absorbed it looks like I begrudge every wasted second. Claire snaps out of it and walks straight over to me. She settles down beside me. She glances at the screen. Morning news. Damon, you really do love watching TV. How about Mom has one installed in your room so you can watch in there too? Claire just wants to give me everything I could ever want. No questions asked. My eyes light up immediately. I'm just about to nod when Serena, coming down the stairs, speaks first. Mom, that's not a good idea. Put a TV in Damon's room and he'll stay up all night watching it. He's still growing. The comment snaps Claire back to her senses. You're right. The way Damon gets hooked, if there's a TV in that room, he'll absolutely watch it through the night. That's out of the question. She quickly reverses course. Damon, Mom didn't think that through. It really won't do. We can't have it affecting your sleep. Watch it here in the living room instead. Mom can keep you company and we can talk about what we're watching. My beautiful dream of watching TV all night is crushed. I shoot Serena a deeply aggrieved look. She clearly doesn't like me, won't even let me have a TV. Alara is starting to seem preferable by comparison. Claire notices I'm sulking and finds it both amusing and heartbreaking at the same time. These days, every kid is glued to their phone. TV barely registers as a novelty. Yet her son is utterly fascinated by it. Who would believe that? She coaxes me softly. Having one in your room really isn't practical. It would wreck your sleep, and you shouldn't be cooped up in your room all the time anyway. That's what bedrooms are for. If you want to watch TV, watch it here. No one in this house is competing with you for the remote. I think it over. Having access to the TV is what matters. I nod agreeably, then make one point very clear. But none of you are allowed to fight me for the remote. Claire can't help laughing, her eyes full of warmth. Yes, the TV is all yours. Anyone who tries to change the channel on you, I'll deal with them myself. She punctuates this with a pointed glare at the daughters filing down the stairs. Serena's mouth twitches. She hasn't watched TV in ages. Why would she fight over it? If anyone's going to fight him for it, it'll be Ella. Ella reacts like she's been stepped on. Why are you pointing at me? You think I'd actually fight him over the TV? I'm not that childish. Her outburst only makes things worse. Everyone in the living room turns to look at her with varying expressions. I deliver the final blow at a leisurely pace. Even if you wanted to fight me for it, you'd have to be capable of winning first. Claire immediately rounds on Ella. You are not to fight Damon for the remote, do you hear me? If I ever find out you've been giving him a hard time, I'll have your father cut off every cent of your allowance. Every single cent. Ella immediately puffs up like an indignant frog, cheeks ballooning, face twisted with grievance, and sneaks several furious glares in my direction. I don't even spare her a sideways glance. She's so worked up she loses her appetite entirely. Victor suddenly brings something up. A typical kid his age would be in their final year of high school by now. Liam sits his college entrance exams next June. Damon should be doing the same. But he spent his whole life at the temple with no formal schooling, and his age is what it is. So where does he start? Could he jump straight into the final year and actually keep up? Getting him enrolled is the easy part. It's the grade level that's the headache. Victor's frown deepens the more he thinks about it. He brings it up with me directly, and since I actually want to use school as a way to learn about this world, I agree without hesitation. Liam's eyes shift as he thinks, then he offers with a smile, Dad, why not put Damon in my class? That way I can look out for him and help him with his studies. I don't even glance at him. Victor is tempted by the idea, but worried I won't be able to keep up academically if my grades end up being poor. And Liam's are as strong as ever. And since the switched child story is no secret in their social circle, they've never even tried to hide it. People will inevitably compare me to Liam. And Victor worries that could wound my pride. Serena steps in calmly. Dad, you don't need to worry too much about that. If Damon can't keep up, we'll hire a private tutor for one-on-one sessions. And when we have time, we can teach him ourselves. This semester is almost over anyway. Let Damon wait until next semester to start school. Use the time to catch him up properly. I think he'll be fine. Claire's eyes light up. She claps her hands with delight. Of course! Why didn't I think of that? A private tutor! Ella aside, studying has never been her strong suit. The three of you have excellent grades. Tutoring Damon through the final year curriculum will be no problem at all. She makes up her mind then and there. Damon, take a couple of days to settle in first. Then the three of you take turns, one subject each, and help him get up to speed as quickly as possible. Serena nods. Works for me. Seeing the eldest agree, Lily and Grace both nod along. Ella doesn't know whether to feel relieved or offended. After all, she was just publicly written off as the dumb one. I was actually about to turn it down. But seeing Claire's face light up with such enthusiasm, I swallow the refusal. Liam bites his lower lip and lowers his eyes, hiding the deep hurt beneath. The switched child story has long stopped being a secret in their social circle. Victor and Claire never had any intention of hiding it. In fact, they had already planned it out. Once I had settled in, they would hold a banquet, inviting everyone of standing in their circle, and formally restore my identity in the open, so I would never have to face mockery or doubt when I stepped out into that world. I'm not particularly fond of that kind of event, but I understand it's a necessary step. Otherwise, people will speculate endlessly. They'll assume the real heir isn't welcome, or worse, that I've been overshadowed by a fake one. The moment I've adjusted even slightly, Claire can't wait to drag me to the shopping mall for a full-blown shopping spree. Everyone except Serena and Victor who have work gets pulled along. That leaves Liam alone at home. Ella sits in the front passenger seat, puffed up with anger, shooting glares at me through the rearview mirror every few seconds. I don't even bother lifting my eyes. I could figure out what she's fuming about with my eyes closed. Liam chose not to come. Am I supposed to beg him? When we reach the mall parking lot, Ella volunteers to park the car. Lily and Grace walk in with Claire and me as we head through the mall entrance and begin the day's shopping. Claire loops her arm through mine. We've barely gone far when I stop walking and tilt my head, listening carefully. Mom, did you hear that? I thought I caught a dull thud just now, like something heavy falling from a great height and hitting the ground hard. And it wasn't an ordinary object. The sound was different. Claire tilts her head too and listens. I don't hear anything. This is a huge mall. It's noisy everywhere. Whatever sound you heard was probably just crowd noise. While she's still speaking, Lily notices something wrong ahead, faint screams drifting toward them. Mom, something's happening up ahead. My eyes sharpen. I reach back and grab Claire's wrist. Mom, let's go take a look. Before anyone can object, I've already pulled her toward the commotion, leaving the sisters standing there staring at each other. Ella arrives just in time, fresh from parking, and mutters, "Why is he so nosy?" Lily glances at her flatly. Say that where Mom can hear you and see what happens. Ella rolls her eyes and says nothing. We should catch up. If something serious is going on, Mom and Damon could end up in danger. With that, they pick up their pace and follow. Claire gets pulled along at a half jog until we reach the crowd that's gathered, watching me elbow my way through. She can't help but smile. Who would have thought Damon always seems so detached, and here he is absolutely dying to see what's going on. If anything, it makes him even more endearing. But when Claire sees what's actually in front of them, her face goes white. She lets out a sharp cry and instinctively steps in front of me. That doesn't feel like enough. She spins around and covers my eyes with her hands, blocking out the horrifying scene in front of us. She had not expected to walk into the middle of something this serious. I only wanted to see what was happening. Why is she covering my eyes? I am from the underworld. I can tell how someone died with a single glance. If it's a wrongful death, the soul goes to Grimhaven, which makes them one of mine. And Grimhaven is already nearly at capacity. Mom, I'm not a child. I'm not scared. I gently pull her hands away from my eyes and say it with complete calm. Claire gives me an exasperated look. What do you mean you're not a child? You haven't even had your birthday yet. What a situation. A centuries-old spirit from the underworld, and now I'm being treated like a child. Lily catches up and positions herself in front of me too. I press a hand to my forehead in resignation. Mall security moves in immediately, police and ambulance are called, and the crowd is pushed back. Claire is not about to let me satisfy my curiosity. She grabs us and pulls us away. Shaken by what happened, she decides she's bought enough for one day. She just wants to go home, and they can come back another time. Something this grim has cast a shadow over the whole outing. I stop her. Mom, you all head to the car. I'll get some air by the corridor. Claire wants to come with me. I refuse, firmly and without room for argument. I'm not a 3-year-old. I don't need a chaperone just to get some air. I follow the signs to the corridor and take my place by the railing. A young man is walking toward me. He startles at the sight of me standing there, drops his head and hurries past. I keep my eyes fixed on his retreating figure. My nostrils shift slightly as I draw in a quiet breath. There it is. The faint scent of death. I linger deliberately in the corridor. The man comes back the same way before long. He stops when he sees me still standing there, clearly not expecting me to still be around. I wait unhurriedly as he gets closer, and draw another careful breath. Faint as it is, I am certain the scent of death is on him. I look at him with a long measuring gaze. What are you staring at? Have you never seen a good-looking guy before? He clocks my stare immediately, reacting like I've hit a nerve, and fires back. Then he strides away in a hurry, his whole bearing radiating guilt and panic. When someone is close to death, the scent of it clings to them thickly. That man was clearly different, which leaves only two possibilities. Either the scent transferred to him from someone else, or he killed someone with his own hands. The first has too many variables to draw conclusions from. The second is far more straightforward. My mind drifts back to the young woman who fell from the upper floor just now. I've been out here long enough. I dust off my hands without a care and turn to leave. Claire has been anxious in the car, still rattled from what she witnessed earlier. A creeping unease refuses to leave her. She's terrified that the son she only just got back might come to harm. It's only when we're safely home that the weight finally lifts from her chest. She pushes the mall incident to the back of her mind and busies herself sorting through everything they bought. I, on the other hand, drop onto the sofa the moment I'm through the door, switch on the TV, and pick up right where I left off. A full-blown TV addict at this point. Lily and Grace head to their rooms to study. Both are top students, entering their 4th year next year, and their academic load has become relentless. Ella is the only one with nothing to do. She drops onto the sofa with zero grace, glancing upstairs where Claire is occupied. She couldn't keep her mouth shut. Country bumpkin. What's so great about TV? Never seen the world. My eyes stay locked on the screen. I hear her, and I nod. I acknowledge it without a shred of embarrassment. Yep, grew up in a mountain temple deep in the wilderness. Of course I haven't seen the world. I am the young lord of Grimhaven. Ever since Alara dumped all the city's affairs on me, I've been run off my feet, no time to keep tabs on mortal world trivialities. I know the broad strokes, nothing more. But now that I'm living as Damon, I need to get up to speed on this world as fast as possible. And watching TV is the fastest way to do it. All the world's happenings delivered to your sofa. Efficient and effortless. Ella nearly chokes on my response. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Deliberately bringing up your past to make us feel guilty, so we feel like we owe you, and your position in this house is untouchable. She keeps going on and on. I give her a look of absolute contempt, the kind you'd reserve for someone hopelessly dense. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot someone coming downstairs. Without a hint of hesitation, I call out at full volume. Mom, Ella's being mean to me again. She called me a country bumpkin and said I'm deliberately trying to make you feel guilty, and make you feel like you owe me. She clearly can't stand me. Is she trying to drive me out of my own home? Ella's eyes go wide. She nearly chokes with rage. Before she can do anything, Claire grabs her by the ear and yanks. Calm down, Mom, calm down. Don't listen to him. I never said anything like that. Ella winces in pain but keeps yelling in her own defense. I point at her, puffing my cheeks with just the right amount of wounded hurt on my face. She said it herself, and she called me a country bumpkin who's never even seen a TV. I already explained I grew up in a mountain temple. Of course I haven't seen the world. And then she started saying I was... Ella opens her mouth to object, but those words did come from her, just not with that intention. I think you're just asking for it today. Get over here, you'll see exactly what you've earned. And stop disturbing your brother while he's watching TV. Claire shows zero mercy this time, tugging hard at Ella's ear as she drags her aside, fully committed to setting her straight. She genuinely can't understand this child. She showered such love on Liam, spoiled him like something irreplaceable. So why does she have it out for Damon from the moment he arrives? Damon is her actual brother, her own flesh and blood. She can't get her priorities straight. Clearly, she hasn't been disciplined enough. I watch Ella cry with completely cold eyes, not a trace of sympathy, and treat her to one of my most triumphant looks. It very nearly sends Ella through the roof. I figured it out completely. Of the 4 Sterling daughters, Ella is by far the least sharp, hopelessly dense. My attention returns to the TV. I fix my gaze on the news channel, like someone waiting for something specific. Sure enough, the local news runs the story. At approximately 11 o'clock this morning, a fall occurred at the Four Seasons Mall in the city center. A young woman was critically injured and later pronounced dead despite emergency treatment. The circumstances of the fall are still under investigation, so she really is gone. I narrow my eyes slightly and my mind goes back to the man I encountered in the corridor. He was visibly panicked and guilty, and he carried the scent of death. Could that man be connected to her? Was the fall an accident, a suicide, or something far worse? I want to go to the scene right now and find out it was a natural end, or wrongful death, but I've only just returned to the Sterling household. I know nothing about this city, and slipping out alone would be nearly impossible. With that in mind, I shelve the thought for now. After the news segment ends, I walk over to where Claire is, and offer what sounds like a kind word. Mom, you can let up on her. Honestly, what she said wasn't entirely wrong. I don't even finish the sentence. Before Ella explodes with all her pent-up fury, don't you dare pretend to be nice. That does it. Claire, who had been almost calmed down, feels the anger surge right back up. Damon, don't waste your time on Ella. She's too thick-skinned to feel a thing. I could wear out the switch on her and she'd barely notice. I've got something simmering for you in the kitchen. Go check if it's ready. Claire is deliberately sending me out of the way. I cast Ella one deeply sympathetic look, then turn and head cheerfully to the kitchen. Ella is convinced I'm gloating. She glares daggers at my back, only to get caught by Claire on the spot. Ella! Over the next few days, I'm still turning over how to find the man from the corridor, when the opportunity walks right up to me on its own. The Sterling family is hosting my homecoming banquet. Nearly every figure of standing in the city has received an invitation. On the night of the banquet, the Sterling villa is alive with color and noise, perfume and silk, clinking glasses and lifted drinks. Elegantly dressed women and sharp-suited men clustered in conversation everywhere you look. I stay upstairs in my room the whole time. Claire is tied up downstairs and plans to come up at the right moment to bring me down and introduce me properly. I change into a tailored formal suit. When the timing feels right, I step out of my room. Passing Liam's room, I slow slightly and angle my ear toward the door. I'm not deliberately eavesdropping. It's just that the people inside, emboldened by the noise downstairs, are speaking a little too loudly, and I'm no ordinary mortal. One brief listen, and I identify the woman speaking with Liam as my nominal Aunt Helena. Given how significant the homecoming banquet is, the Sterling family from the capital has come in full. That includes my uncle's family, who inherited the Sterling Company, the ancestral estate, and the bulk of the family assets, as well as my grandmother, Mrs. Sterling. However, their sincerity is questionable. After all, the banquet is tonight, and they only bothered to arrive last night, unhurried as ever. Mrs. Sterling is staying at our villa. The rest checked into a hotel in the city. I rest my chin in one hand and quietly note that Liam seems to be on very good terms with my uncle's side of the family. No wonder Aunt Helena barely spared me a glance yesterday, just a few hollow pleasantries and nothing more. While I'm still thinking, footsteps sound inside the room. I quickly retreat to my own room. Once the two of them have left and headed downstairs, I open my door again and step out, just as Claire is coming up to get me. She sees me dressed up, and her face breaks into a smile, eyes filled with warmth and delight. "Damon, you look absolutely handsome tonight." That's not flattery, I genuinely am. Claire attributes it to my years at the temple. Kept apart from the noise and entanglements of the world, I developed a kind of rare, unclouded quality. The longer she looks, the more she adores what she sees. She makes a silent vow to herself. She will do everything in her power to protect me, to keep me exactly as I am, carefree for the rest of my life. It's time. Let Mom take you down. We take a few steps, and I ask as if the thought just occurred to me, shouldn't we bring Liam along? No need, tonight is for you. He's with your aunt right now anyway. Bringing him along would only give him more to overthink. He's been so sensitive lately. Honestly, we don't quite know how to handle it. Aunt Helena seems very fond of him. From what I've gathered these past weeks, Victor and his older brother are on rather cool terms. Otherwise, Victor wouldn't have left after the family divided and built everything from scratch here. They make the annual trip back to the capital, but that's purely out of respect for Mrs. Sterling. So why does Aunt Helena have such a soft spot for Liam? Claire doesn't find it strange at all, and explains patiently. You know how your father's family is. He has an older brother and an older sister. Your uncle and Helena never had a son. Your aunt did have one, but he doesn't carry the Sterling name. I was the only one who gave the family a son, so... As she speaks, guilt shadows her face. All that doting should have belonged to her Damon. He was supposed to be the cherished young heir of the Sterling family, and yet fate had made a cruel joke of it all. The thought brings a fresh wave of sorrow. I raise an eyebrow slightly. So that's the reason. I've been with the Sterling family for over 2 weeks now. Tonight is my first real public appearance. Claire and Victor walk on either side of me. I descend the staircase slowly, and the moment I appear, every face in the room turns toward me, my presence commanding the full attention of every guest. There is not a trace of timidity in me. The way I carry myself speaks of someone raised from birth in wealth and refinement. Every gesture, every step, the picture of a privileged young heir. Liam watches me standing at the center of everyone's attention and feels a sharp tightening in his chest. His eyes lock onto me and won't let go, the loss and jealousy written plainly across his face. Helena notices the shift in him and quickly reassures him. Liam, don't worry. What he's showing right now is all an act. Anyone can put on a performance. You are the one this family raised. Never forget that. You've lived in this house for over a decade. So what if he's the biological son? Bonds take time to grow. Liam forces out a thin smile. Aunt Helena, I'm fine. I'm genuinely happy for them. Mom and Dad getting their son back. That's a wonderful thing. I've had so much from this family over the years. If anything, I'm the one who owes Damon. Helena gives him a sharp look and keeps her voice low. What does any of this have to do with you? You were a baby too, weren't you? It was the parents who failed to watch over their children. That's how the mix-up happened. None of that falls on you. Now put your mind at ease and stop spiraling. I know Victor and Claire well enough. They raised you with real care for all these years. Even with their biological son home, they will not stop loving you. Fix your mindset. Don't go lowering yourself before anyone even asks you to. Bottom line, remember this. You have done nothing wrong. You don't owe anyone anything. Are we clear? Liam bites his lip and gives a small nod. He doesn't say anything else. Victor and Claire won't stop caring for him, but nothing will ever be the same as it was before, whether here at home or across the entire Sterling family. In the city and in the capital alike, he was the sole golden grandson. Everyone held him like something precious. Every wish was answered. He was all anyone saw. And now, the drop is enormous. Since Damon came back, he has practically ceased to exist in their eyes. Their world revolves entirely around Damon. Even the sisters have shifted. Only Ella still stands in his corner. Just thinking about it fills Liam with unbearable resentment. Everything that was his, suddenly he has to give away more than half of it. How is anyone supposed to accept that? While Liam drifts in his thoughts, Victor and Claire have already made a formal introduction, presenting me to the guests with great ceremony. Every word drips with unmistakable pride and affection. Even the 4 Sterling daughters stand at my side. To every pair of eyes in the room, the picture speaks for itself. Liam, the Sterlings are really something, aren't they? The whole family standing there all warm and united, and you're just left out to one side? Helena has gone off to mingle. A group of well-connected young men who were close with Liam drift over, clustering around him with indignation on his behalf. Don't talk nonsense. Tonight belongs to Damon. This banquet was organized specifically for him. He's the rightful center of it all. What business would I have standing up there? It wasn't that Victor and Claire intentionally left him out. Before the banquet, Claire had actually suggested Liam join them on the floor, but Liam refused, and refused firmly. He insisted that Damon is the real heir and this banquet is for Damon, so he had no place standing there. The words were perfectly reasonable. Claire considered it, and decided it might not actually be good for Liam either. Standing there would only invite comparisons and make his position more uncomfortable. So it was dropped. But even though he was the one who refused, Liam still feels slighted. He said the right words, but the loss in his voice was impossible to miss, which only makes his friends more worked up on his behalf. Liam, sure, Damon may be the real heir, but you've been with the Sterling family for over a decade. There's no reason you should be pushed aside the moment he shows up. The Sterlings can support one more, and if we're going by first come, first served, he's the one who showed up late. You can't use first come, first served for something like this. He is mom and dad's biological son. He suffered all those years in a mountain temple while I lived in comfort here. It's only natural he'd have grievances. I understand completely, and I won't hold anything against him. Liam puts on a show of magnanimity. His friend beside him curls his lip with undisguised contempt. Someone who grew up in a mountain temple, probably never even seen a TV. It's hard to believe people like that still exist. Between you and that country bumpkin, anyone with half a brain knows who deserves more. Exactly. You were shaped by the Sterling family's money and influence, a true young master built from the ground up. How could someone like him ever compare? If your parents can't get the priorities straight, they'll regret it sooner or later. Just wait for that country bumpkin to embarrass the Sterlings and make them the laughingstock of high society. Liam, you can't afford to be so soft. The more you back down, the easier a target you become. What's yours you fight for? Liam nods along. I know. Don't worry about me. No one's giving me a hard time at home. Ella still treats me exactly the same as before. His words sound reassuring on the surface, but underneath they are designed to stir things up. By singling out Ella as the one who still treats him the same, he is implying, without saying it outright, that the other three sisters have already grown distant. Now that the real brother is back, the adopted one gets tossed aside. Liam knows when to stop and leaves it there. He doesn't actually intend any real harm. It's just that watching me command the room just now, he suddenly worries I'll slot into this circle too fast and take every last bit of the spotlight that used to be his. So he plants a few seeds of doubt with his friends first. Word spreads. He knows it may not actually stop anything, but it should at least do something, right? While they are mid-conversation, they spot the undisputed star of the evening, me, walking straight toward them.